morning, folks. Good morning. It's your boy, MMG Smurf here, coming to you live. And I thought I'd start off this morning. Make sure my lights are good. Thought I'd start off this morning by listening to the Animal Farm AMA featuring FOREX Shark and Joviar. I believe Jovier. Jovier's Gems. Could be Jovier, but I think it's Jovier. Jovier's Gems on YouTube. So they're somewhat of a DJ. They invest in way more projects than I would care to, because a lot of those go to. But they've made some good calls too. So they're all respect where respect deserved. They got quite a few followers in their channel, so I'm sure that's why our subscribers, and I'm sure that's why FOREX has chosen them. But enough of the nitty gritty. Look them up yourselves. It's a fine channel to do some DeFi. Learn about some DeFi projects and stuff like that. The AMA has already started. I'm about 30 to 40 minutes late or so. And so I titled this Fast, not just Smurf Reacts, but Fast, because we're going to be listening to the YouTube. For number one, FOREX has suggested everybody go and listen to it on YouTube so that Jovier can get, some notoriety around this. Because if the YouTube video blows up, then that's good for everybody. So we're going to be listening to the YouTube video as well. And I do have the Telegram ready in case something happens with the YouTube. And other than that, it's going to be playing it in 2x speed so that we catch up to where they currently are. And so the beginning of this thing is going to be really fast. The Animal Farm launches tomorrow with just all the pig components. It's going to also have a new interface, a new UI update, and a new URL, which you can find in Money Match Gaming's Discord. It's going to be animalfarm.app, and we'll be listing that in our Discord and the crypto and announcements channels. But without any further ado, let's jump on into this thing. Let's see what they're talking about. We're going to be listening to this again in 2x speed so we can catch up to where they currently are, and then it's eventually going to slow down. But it'll probably be a good 10, 15, 20 minutes before it does that. Let's get it.
If not, y'all can stay inside the Telegram chat right now. But
I would suggest that everybody goes, if you're in the Telegram chat, to go over to his channel and subscribe, because he's always posting good videos about drip and about what we have going on. So he has good insight. He's following a lot of other projects, so it's not like he's just following drip. So I think that gives him some good context and a good perspective, because he knows what's going on in the space as a whole. So definitely go over and subscribe to him, because he's doing some good stuff.
Yes, sir. So well, I guess we can start off with just a couple things. Everybody, just a simple thing. So tomorrow is when it actually launches, correct?
Yeah, so we're going live tomorrow.
Turn it up because it sounds like a little.
We can. I'll do this. Full interview with you, and then if I feel like there's more, you want to wrap up the interview, and I feel like there's more info that needs to get out about the launch tomorrow or anything like that, I'm just gonna continue to stay on until everything I feel is out there, all the info is out there. But yeah, feel free to ask me any of the questions you want, and I can stay on with you as long as you want, as long as you need me to. So right. The launch is tomorrow. I just posted the countdown. It's 1 p.m. EST is when we go live. Now previous launches that we've done have been using a slightly different launch process, where we essentially, when the countdown is hit 0, we start a voice chat to essentially get everyone up to date with where we are, and then we start a short countdown essentially to when we actually unpause the contract. Tomorrow we're going to use a different launch process, where as soon as the countdown hits 0, it's going to be live. So we just we tuned up and made some improvements so we can more dial in exactly when we'll be live. I think it can be a little bit difficult to dial in exactly when you're going to be live, days in advance, but we got that dialed in. So tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST we're going live.
All right, great. So let me just turn my volume up real quick. So let me just turn it up. All right, bet. So hopefully everybody's able to hear me now good as well. But so I did see the new website. It looks very clean, looks very sleek, looks very nice. And one of the questions that people kept asking me, I think I've heard you say it before. I'm not sure if you ever gave a date or real definite answer behind it. But so we have a new UI for the Animal Farm, whole new website overall actually. It looks very clean. And people are asking if you're going to be making a new UI for drip as well.
Yeah, actually we already have. So that's built. I've showed some videos, some sneak peeks of it, and really it's just a matter of pushing it. And when we launched Animal Farm, the idea is get Animal Farm out and then put my focus back on drip. And some things came up. For example, PancakeSwap ended their emission rate on the V10 pool, which was what we were using to lend our collateral on Animal Farm. So when people staked on Animal Farm, we were not just letting the capital sit in the contracts like all the other farms and dApps do. We were lending it out to PancakeSwap to earn an additional 30-40% APY a year. When you're talking about 30-40% APY on hundreds of millions of dollars, that's a ton of money, and that's millions of dollars worth of BUSD dividends that we can pay out to the community through this mechanism. When they shut that down and basically forced people to migrate over to V2, this is something that they did unannounced. Everybody knew that they were migrating over to a V2, but they didn't say that they were going to be shutting down emissions on V1. So they actually announced this two weeks ago when we were going to go live with Animal Farm. So it was kind of lucky in a sense, because either way we would have been able to migrate, but it's way better to do it before it goes live rather than going live and then having to put the brakes on to do a migration a couple weeks after launch. So this put back the launch for 2 weeks, which is tomorrow. And as soon as we finish the Animal Farm migration, we have some big things coming up for drip. And this is a new UI, we have a partnership with a major DEX that we actually just secured yesterday. I really got a chance to talk about it, but they have a new product that's coming out that is going to be a pretty big deal. And we've been back and forth with them about trying to secure some kind of partnership with them. And we just had a meeting yesterday where they kind of pitched what they wanted to do with us. And it's very cool. And this is something that they're only doing for what they consider the top 5 projects on BSC, and we're one of them. And it's going to provide an awesome new use case for Drip. It's going to be a new model of staking on their platform where people will be locking up Drip and Drip liquidity to earn yield. And so it's going to give. So they're going to be promoting the hell out of this because it's their new product.
Yeah.
There's only 5 other projects that they're doing this with, at least at the start, and we're one of them. And it's going to give us a ton of new exposure plus an awesome new utility for Drip. So they said they're 2 or 3 weeks away from going live with it, and essentially their development is finished. They're just prepping the the promotion side of things right now. So you're about to see them heavily promoting it in the next few days, and then it'll be going live in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and we're gonna be a part of that, and that's gonna be very big for us. There's a few other things that are really big for Drip that I'm working on as well, but this is something that's right around the corner, like sometime mid next month. And the UI, I'm going to make sure that we have the new UI up before we do this, because everybody that gets exposure to Drip through this partnership, I want them to be onboarded to the new UI.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So I really want to keep the beginning of this whole AMA kind of catered towards the animal farm first, and then I want to move into just a few questions about the whole future of Drip and everything like that later on. And also I have a couple questions about the Drip Garden as well, because that has been something that a lot of people have been hitting me up about. Questions about the Drip Garden and everything like that. But as far as the animal farm, so just in case anybody else hasn't been on any of the AMAs or anything like that, when to convert, because we had to kind of credit our V1 pig tokens, right? So we would then get the V2 pig tokens. How will that convert? Will it be a 1-to-1 ratio? Will it be will we lose some value? Like I said, the value of pigs was whatever it was. Are we going to lose value, or was there kind of the same way we had the rev tokens and a screenshot of the price of the rev tokens, how that swapped over to the PL?
No,
Go ahead.
So it's going to be slightly more value, and the reason for this is because we're taking 100% of the liquidity that is on the pig's liquidity pool, withdrawing that, and we're able to withdraw that because everybody has provided their pig tokens and pig LPs. We have no centralized control to just decide we're going to remove the liquidity. It takes, because we're a fully decentralized project, it takes the full effort and support of the community to do this kind of thing, which we have. So they've given us their pig and pig LP tokens, which allow us to remove 100% of the pigs from the pigs and the more importantly the BUSD from the LP pool. We're going to mint the exact same amount of pigs that were in the V1 pool and pair it with the exact same amount of BUSD that was in the V1 pool, which means the price will be exactly the same and there'll be the same amount of capital backing it. The reason why the price was different with Rev is because we had a pre-sale in Rev, which meant that there were a specific amount of Rev tokens that needed to go to pre-sale holders and a specific amount that needs to go to the liquidity pool, and it was different. Where in this case, it's 1-to-1. Everything's going 1-to-1, and the reason why they'll have slightly more value is because we've always been hard against botters and snipers, and we made it very clear that if you try to bot or snipe our project, you're going to get blacklisted. And so this isn't just a general rule against people that want to do scripted trading, because we have no issue with that. We implement specific anti-bot protocols into our into our system, and the only people that get blacklisted are people that try to get around this anti-bot protocol. And for example, one of those is say we limit the amount of tokens you can buy per user at launch to prevent someone from coming in and sniping. If you try to use a bot to set up 100 wallets and buy the max on each wallet, right? This is trying to get around our anti-bot protocol. This isn't the same as just trying to do some automated trading, which we have no issue with. So when this happens, right there, we had a couple people try this, as everyone knows, and those people are not getting credited in V2. And because those people are not getting credited in V2, that means that there's more value going to everybody else who has the pig token. So everybody will have slightly more value as far as the pig tokens, and a lot more value as far as piggy bank.
All right, yeah, that sounds great. That was one of the bigger questions that I had, because I tweeted on my Twitter and everything like that, asking people what questions should I ask. And AMA, and a lot of people had sent me that as well, so a lot of people had DM'd me that as well. Yeah. Another question that I kind of have, what a lot of people have also been asking me, and I wasn't on the AMA, the one you did late last night with Crypto Mischief.
Well, actually, just so you know, he had some issue importing my audio into whatever new streaming software he had. So we rescheduled it for tonight, so you didn't miss anything.
Okay. Now, just make sure, I didn't really want to keep repeating any questions that he might have asked, and I wasn't sure, whatever like that.
No
but
problem.
one of the questions that a lot of people have also been asking me is if they had their LPs locked inside of the different pools and everything like that, were they receiving rewards this whole time, or was it completely paused? Like they wouldn't have any type of rewards to claim once the V2 launches?
Okay. All right. So the way it's working is, if you have LPs staked on Animal Farm and you've had LPs staked on Animal Farm this whole time, what's been happening is your collateral has been lent out to PancakeSwap, where you're earning yield on it just the same as if you had them staked on PancakeSwap. And when V2 goes fully live, meaning the farms and pools, they'll continue to earn on it, and they'll get dogs and pigs the way they were earning before. But if you had it staked this whole time for the past 2 months, all of that yield that's been generated in the form of cake is being sold for BUSD and injected into the pig pen, because that's always been this. Well, there were 2 things that we said we would be doing with the yield that we're earning on the back end from the pancake staking, and that is buybacks and that is pig pen injections. Now we've done both, and we've realized that there's way more benefit to doing pig pen injections, and the reason for this is because either way you're giving that value to the investor, but one way is you do a buyback and you're putting it into a liquidity pool, which essentially it gets immediately removed, typically from one fast whale, who's just trying to do some short-term flip on it. Where if you inject it into the pig pen, you're still giving that same amount of BUSD to the community, but it's paid to them over time, and that rewards the people that have a long-term stake in the project, and it ensures that this value actually goes to supporting the price of pigs, because it gives more incentive. The higher the amount of value in the pig pen, the more incentive there is to take pigs and stake it in there, and this means less sell pressure on pigs. So injecting into the pig pen results in better pigs price performance, and it rewards the right people. So if you had your LP token staked this whole time on Animal Farm, what's going to happen is when the pig pen goes live, that yield that you've been earning on PancakeSwap is going to be injected into pig pen and essentially paid out to you that way. So it's there's been no time really wasted, in a sense that there's very few good safe places to earn yield, and really I feel Animal Farm is the best. I would say second best would be PancakeSwap, and just for being staked in PancakeSwap, whether the main contracts are paused or not, you're earning yield in. I mean, I'm not sure if I said Animal Farm, but when you are staked on Animal Farm, whether the contracts are paused or not, you're earning yield on PancakeSwap as if you were staked in PancakeSwap. So really, it's there's been no wasted time as far as people that feel like it's been in there all the time. How am I earning yield? Yes, you've been earning yield. You've been earning yield as a staker in PancakeSwap.
Got it. So basically, the overall version of it, not really individually though.
No, but the people that are the stakers in the farm have been earning pigs and then staking them at the same rate that they've been. Well, if they've been staking them at the same rate that they've been earning them, then they have the same share in the pig pen that they would have in the farm. So it is essentially a one-to-one direct payout. It depends on how they were utilizing their pig tokens. If they were taking the pig tokens that they were earning in the farm and putting them in the pig pen, then it's either a one-to-one or a greater than one-to-one payout because the people who haven't been doing that need a greater share for you if you have been doing that. And I know, a very, very large, over 90% of the pigs in circulation were in the pig pen. So that proves that almost everybody was doing that anyway. So it's like 90% one-to-one payout as far as the yield that's been generated in PancakeSwap.
Well, shout out Bartertown in the YouTube chat. He said shout out you via my top 5 favorite crypto YouTubers, and I'm not 5, 4, 3, or 2, so I guess I'm the number 1. But back to the whole AMA. So another question. So as far as the whole process tomorrow, I know you're gonna go through it tomorrow, like when it gets closer to the actual time and hour when it's released. With the people that have credited their V1 tokens, what will they have to do moving forward once it's launched?
Okay, so there are 3 possible scenarios. And only one of those scenarios actually requires action. So if you have the pigs in your wallet, then you have nothing to do. The V2 tokens will be airdropped to you. Now this is less than 3% of the tokens were actually in people's wallets. So this is a very small percentage of users, but they will get it directly to their wallet. 86% of the LP tokens were staked in piggy bank, and it will not require any action from them to get credited as well. So essentially, the way that we're crediting people in piggy bank is the amount that you deposited into the piggy bank minus the amount you withdrew from the piggy bank is what you'll be credited in, and you'll be credited in the same order. So essentially, the way we're determining what to credit everybody is by launching the new contract and then placing simulated orders in the same order that they were placed when people did their initial deposit and the initial buys. And the amount that is being deposited for you is essentially the amount that you deposited versus the amount that you withdrew. And because of the limitations that we put on the ability to drain the system, such as the max payout, such as the 3% max daily ROI, and there's one more. But anyways, the main ones are the 3% max. Oh, well, I would say the other main one is if someone was to get a huge amount of pigs that seems unjustified, the security protocol will pause the contract, which is what happened. So because of those limiting functionalities that allow us to be secure and sustainable worked, the only people that were able to withdraw anything close to what they deposited were a few people, actually 2 people that essentially tried to snipe and drain the contract. And those people, because we wanted a non-arbitrary way to credit people. We didn't want to do some centralized decision making saying, oh, you get blacklisted, you get this much, you get that much. So crediting it in a way where it's the amount that you deposited minus the amount you withdrew removes those buyers because they were able to withdraw in the 1 or 2 days slightly more than they deposited. So they will not be credited. Because they will not be credited, everybody else in the system will be credited significantly more because there's that value transfer there. So with piggy bank, you don't need to do anything either. When it goes live, when we unpause, you will have your stakes. When you connect your wallet, you will see your stakes. You will see your referral bonuses. Any gifts that you made will be gifted. Any any time locks that you made.
So basically, everything's automatically just be switched. There's really no nothing we have to do unless we put that 3% like you were saying, then it was airdrop and everything like that.
Well, even if it's airdrop, there's still nothing you need to do. It's airdrop to your wallet. The only people that need to do any action is the people in the pig pen. And the reason for this is because we wanted to give pig pen stakers an option. The reason why we wanted to give pig pen stakers an option is because it's going to be 2 weeks before the Dogs Master Chef goes completely live. The reason for this is because we need to migrate to the V2 syrup pools so we can do the collateral rehypothecation and earn many millions of dollars every month for BUSD payouts, and that requires the community to migrate. And we've already built the contract to allow for people to migrate, but we want to do it one at a time. So because of this, there's going to be about a 2-week period where BUSD is not generated in the pig pen, and but there's millions of dollars that have been generated, and it was already in the vault. So there are millions of dollars in the vault that will be being paid out in the pig pen and BUSD when we go live. But we wanted to give people the option, if they wanted to also get into the piggy bank if they were staked in the pig pen previously. So the way it will work is if you were in the pig pen, you go to the UI, you go to the pigs crediting contract, and you see 2 tabs. It will say pig pen credit or piggy bank credit. If you want to go to the pig pen credit, all you do is input the amount of pigs that is allocated to you from the credit. You'll see on the dashboard, you connect wallet how much pigs are credited to you. You then you pick the amount that you want to send to the pig pen, and you just confirm and transfer. It'll be sent to the pig pen for you. If you want to credit to the piggy bank, then what you'll do is use the dashboard to send in BUSD to the pig pen, to the piggy bank crediting dashboard. It will pair your allocated pigs with the BUSD that you sent in, and it will send those LPs to the piggy bank for you. So now you'll have a piggy bank stake. So this is a way where you can decide whether you want to credit your pigs to the piggy bank or whether you want to credit those pigs to the pig pen. Now the benefits of the 2 are the pig pen. You're going to get there's millions of dollars in the vault already that will be paid out over the every day. The 3% is bounced every day. But also we have a new cash flow that we created through improvements that we made to the protocol and the logic of the system, and that allows for pigs dividends to be paid out as well to the pig pen. And these are coming from the deposit and withdrawal fees on piggy bank. So when we developed piggy bank, we wanted a referral system and a referral bonus, but you need to ensure that there is no benefit to self-referring. So the way we did that was putting a deposit withdrawal fee that is higher than the referral bonus you would get. This way, you end up paying more in fees through self-referring than you would if you just did a legitimate referral. But we never take the pigs or any native asset as a developer fee. We never sell our tokens to pay developers or anything like that. So those pigs that are coming from those developer fees, those pigs that are coming from the deposit withdrawal fees from the piggy bank are being sent over to the pig pen as dividend rewards. And this is great because it's a non-inflationary way, which is removing more pigs from circulation. It's further incentivizing people to stake in the pig pen, and it's another multi-million-dollar cash flow, weekly cash flow that'll be going into the pig pen. So it's two great options. I would say the reason why you want to go to the piggy bank is because you get in the piggy bank, you're getting it at the ground floor, and we're putting a 20% bonus on any capital that goes into the piggy bank in the first 48 hours. And this is how we're kind of just kickstarting this thing.
So if we buy pigs within the first 24 hours, well, the first 48 hours and stake it into the pig pen, we'll get a 20% bonus on top of it. So if we put 100, let's just say we put 100 pigs in the pig pen, we'd then be getting an additional 20 pigs worth inside the pig pen.
It's piggy bank, not pig pen. The 20, yeah, exactly. So the way that it will work is so say you would get 100 piglets, which determines your ROI in the piggy bank. For if you bought in like in a vacuum. You deposited enough to get 100, you would get 120. And after 48 hours, if you deposited that same amount of capital in a vacuum, assuming no price movement or anything, you would only get 100. So essentially, we're putting a small multiplier on the amount of piglets you get in the first 48 hours. But the thing is, 20% makes a big difference because not only are you earning 20% a compound interest on this additional 20%, but also if you time lock it, you're getting a bonus on that, and that bonus is calculated by taking your principal and then putting a multiplier on that, and the bonus that you get for depositing the first 20 days is counted towards the your principal. So if you were to deposit enough to get 100 piglets in the first 48 hours, you'll get 120 piglets, and then if you time lock them, you're going to get a bonus based on this 120 piglets instead of 100. And the way that this bonus is paid out is it gives you a bonus when you time lock. So say you deposit enough to buy 100 piglets, and you time lock for let's say 6 months. I'm just using arbitrary values now to make my point. So say it puts a 50% bonus for time locking for 6 months. What this is going to do is your principal starts out at 100 piglets because that's how much you bought, not including the bonus, and then 50 piglets gets put essentially in your bonus pool. And then every day, a percentage of this 50 piglets is added to your available divs that you can compound, and now you compound that bonus into your stake, increasing your principal, and it allows you to earn compound interest on your bonus as well. And this is why when you look at the percentage in bonus that you're making for even a short period of time, they're huge bonuses. It's because when we factor in the percentage bonus you're making, we're factoring in this compound interest. And the reason why we're doing that is because fundamentally or intrinsically, you have to be earning compound interest on it to even be able to claim it. Because a little bit of that bonus is made available every day, and to claim that bonus for your day, you need to compound it into your principal on that day. So the bonuses are huge on it. There's no other platform that allows for any kind of product like this. There's a couple variable time locking staking protocols out there. For example, Hex is one of them. There's a couple more. You don't need to mention them, but all of them essentially, once you've locked in your principal, that's it. The yield that you're earning on it, you cannot compound it. The bonus that you're making, you cannot earn interest on it. You cannot compound that bonus into your principal to earn additional compound interest on it. So it allows the yield that's able to be generated to be much, much higher, but without any kind of inflation or dilution of pigs, which is what all of these other variable time lock protocols are doing. For example, Hex, when Hex pays out your bonus to you, it's minting Hex to be able to do that, which dilutes the supply, which offsets the bonus. Which in our case, this bonus is not coming to you from a dilution or inflation supply. It's coming to you as a value transfer from people that are not locking and not compounding and are just grading the system. And the way this works is you make up to a 3% ROI daily. Now, when you don't compound and you just do only withdrawals, your 3% daily ROI is slightly reduced every day. And the people who are compounding reset their daily ROI to 3% every time they compound. And this creates a value transfer for people who are only draining the system to people who are actively compounding and actively depositing and actively earning referral bonuses. So it allows it to pay out much higher yield than any other variable time taking protocol without using inflation to do it. So I mean, it's really one of a kind.
Beautiful. So on to kind of another part of the animal farm, towards the farms part. So somebody had, and I thought that was a pretty valid question because we have the pig pen, we have the piggy bank, we have the dog single staking pool. Somebody asked if there would be a drip single staking pool because they were suggesting that could help kind of with the sell pressure of drip, but also people can use drip to go and get pigs and dogs as well. So I was just asking if you ever thought about that, just having a single staking pool for drip. So I know I have drip BNB. I believe it's a drip BNB pool.
It's drip USD. It's drip USD. So I have thought about that, and my feeling towards that, and I think the overall feeling of the community, at least the core drip members, feel like the best staking protocol for drip is the drip faucet. Creating a single staking pool for drip takes away from the value of the faucet, but also doesn't provide as much value to drip as the liquidity pairing does. So the pairing and adding liquidity to it actually creates more value, and creating a single staking pool for drip takes away from the value of the current single staking pool, which is really the bread and butter of the whole project, the faucet and all of those mechanics. So I don't think that would be a positive thing for drip.
When you break it down like that, that definitely makes sense. The best place and the healthiest place for drip would be in the drip faucet. And
we have some things that are coming up for drip that are different places where you can stake it, but they're built on top of the faucet, or they're just some third-party project, such as the Dex that we're working with that's going to be releasing their product in the next few weeks, which has drip staking. But in this case, it doesn't take away from the the core contracts of drip, because in our case, it's built on top of the faucet in the lending protocol that I'm working on. And in the case of the third-party one, that's just something extra that's not even created by our team, and that just brings in a ton more users that wouldn't even be exposed to drip.
Yeah. So you mentioned something just now, the lending protocol. You said you're working on it. I've heard you talk about it multiple different times, and that's another question. I didn't write that question down, but that was another question that somebody had brought up to me. Do you have an estimated time? Like, are you thinking this quarter, next quarter, end of year? Like, what is if you guys give an estimated time as far as when that would be available?
Yeah, so I'm not going to say that it's going to be out in the next couple months because I need to develop it, but I have the logic worked out, and I believe that is something that's like truly revolutionary in a way that's, I believe it's going to be the premier product in DeFi, period. And for things right around the corner for drip, right? We have the new UI, we have the major Dex partnership, and there's a few more things, a few more smaller partnerships that we're working on, and also Scratchy, the Scratch ticket protocol, which I'm excited for the lottery, the Scratch. I'm excited for it. But go ahead. And all of those things are within the next couple months. The lending protocol is something much, much bigger, and I'm not going to get into the details of it because I really don't want to give anybody my ideas.
Yeah.
But what I can say is it's going to be a peer-to-peer lending protocol on Drip that allows people to lend capital to other people who are members of the Drip community, have that loan backed by the collateral of their stake, so the lender doesn't have to worry about not getting paid. And the user who gets the loan will essentially be getting that loan in the form of a stablecoin, which is backed by both BUSD and Drip, so that keeps it pegged. And it's essentially a way where if someone has a Drip stake, you can essentially take out a loan against your stake, trade with it. It will be a stablecoin, which has a USD stablecoin that you can trade with. Say you have a really big pre-sale you want to get into, but you don't want to get out of Drip. You can take a loan out against your Drip stake, get into that pre-sale, do your quick flip. If for whatever reason it doesn't work out for you, you lose that money. You don't really have to worry about it because your Drip stake is going to slowly pay off your loan anyways. And if you do pay it back, then you pay less interest on it, and that interest is going to the person who gave you the loan. So it's also a way for people to do secured loans peer-to-peer and earn interest off of it. So and this is something that I think is levels above anything in DeFi right now, and it's something that I already have the logic worked out for. I just need to actually build up the contracts. So we have things that are 1 month, 2 months, and this is something that I want to do for sure by end of year. But I would say it's the thing that I'm most motivated by out of anything I'm working on right now. And there's some big things I'm super excited about the scratch ticket model. I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
And that's more short term. But I would say the big picture thing that I'm most excited for Drip, that's something that's that everybody can look forward to in the future, is a peer-to-peer lending service. And I think that's going to change the game, honestly.
Yeah, I think that'd be absolutely amazing. So you said that's your kind of thing that you're looking forward to the most on the Drip side of it. What's the thing that you're looking forward to most when it comes to the animal farm? Is it the well, I guess the scratch offs would be on the animal farm, wouldn't it?
So the way that's going to work is that we're going to have a platform of its own for the scratch ticket project. But then the scratch ticket project is also a white label service where people will be able to have their own batches of scratch tickets for their individual platform. So we're going to get it launched just as a proof of concept on Drip and on Animal Farm, and
Then
you'll be able to buy these. Yeah, exactly. And I know there's a ton of people that are excited and want to be involved with this. But the way it will work is you'll be able to buy Animal Farm scratch tickets on Animal Farm, Drip scratch tickets on the Drip website. Whatever platform you buy it on, 20% of the BNB, which is used to buy those tickets, goes to buy whatever token. So if they're bought on the Drip platform, they go to buy Drip and sending that Drip to the tax vault, the tax vault for the faucet. Or if they're bought on Animal Farm, then it will go to buying the dog and pigs tokens, and it will be sending the dogs to a burn address. And I'm still making up my mind on this, whether the pig will be sent to the pig pen or if the pig will be sent to a burn address. But I'm leaning towards the pig pen right now because that'll be another massive cash flow for the pig pen and a ton more buy volume for dog, pigs, and Drip, because this is going to be, basically the batches that we're looking at will be 10,000 tickets a batch, sold for anywhere between 0.1 BNB to 5 BNB, and they'll have different lotteries depending on that. So this is going to be thousands of BNB every day, and 20% of it will be going to buying our native assets. Now, the way that it works is the tickets are NFTs, and you can interact with the NFTs on the dashboard on the platform, the Animal Farm or Drip platform. As soon as you buy them, you can scratch them using your mouse to scratch a digital scratch ticket to see the results, see if you won. When you call the scratch function to scratch it, it calls a function on Chainlink which gives a verifiable random value, which is then used to determine whether what prize you won. And if you didn't win a prize on that ticket still represents a share of the protocol, which you can stake, and 10% of all the BNB that's used to buy all the tickets on all the platforms goes to pay out the staking pool for people who are staking these NFTs as a revenue sharing model. So it allows people who are staking the tickets, the NFTs, to be a shared ownership of the protocol. The NFTs act as a share, like any traditional business share. So the amount that's being paid out as far as revenue sharing is equal to the total fees associated with the platform that we're using to pay for the Chainlink and pay developers and pay the artists and pay everything. So essentially the stakers are making the same amount that any other developer would make, which is huge because it puts you in an owner seat for the protocol. And I know the protocol is going to be huge because the scratch ticket model works. We know it works. There's very good reasons why it works. And it's for similar reasons are the fact that it's the gamification of it, where you can buy a ticket, scratch it, see if you want or not. Maybe you win enough to buy a new ticket. You can instantly buy a new ticket. And that instant gratification is way more attractive to people that are into that kind of thing than buying a lottery ticket, having only one winner, and then having to wait whatever it is, a week or 48 hours to figure out if you are the winner or not. Or in this case, you buy a ticket, you see if you're the winner or not. There's a variety of prizes you can win. 60% of all the BNB that is used to buy tickets is used for prizes on that round. Another 10% goes into a treasury, and 25% of the treasury balance goes towards the jackpot. And what that means is every batch the treasury grows, and 25% of the treasury goes to the jackpot. So the jackpot grows. So every single batch, every day, the jackpot grows. And there's one jackpot, and then there's 5 second-tier prizes, 50 third-tier prizes, a few hundred 4-tier prizes, and then a bunch of 5th-tier prizes, which essentially you win another ticket.
So that was about to be my next question, but you just answered it right there. And how many winners would there be? It wouldn't just be that one winner. But obviously, if you're that one jackpot winner, then just remember my YouTube channel, remember my phone number, just call me if you need me. But
we're using, as far as the way that the prizes are parsed out, we're using the same model as the current scratch ticket model, and we know that works. We know it's a very, very sustainable and healthy form of it's a healthy business model. So it works well.
Yeah, definitely. So somebody literally just messaged me this question. I wasn't sure if you covered it when I asked about the not having to do anything when the new V2 comes out. But if we have already our LP tokens still staked inside, let's say any of the pools like the Dog BUSD or the Drip BUSD, whatever it is, will it automatically be staked inside the next one or inside the new contract, or we'll have to actually go? We'll just basically have to unstake it from V1 and then just stake it right back into V2.
Yeah. So as I was saying before, because we are fully decentralized, we don't have the ability to take your money off the contracts and move it anywhere. So this is there are other projects that have that ability, but you see every other project is rugging and scamming. We don't even bake in the ability to do that even if we wanted to. So the way that it's working is tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST we go live with Pigs, Piggy Bank, and Pigpen, and then we're going to spend the next few days and the weekend just really focusing on that. And then at the start of next week, we're going to open up the migration process to give people a week to migrate their dogs and all of their capital that's staked on the Masterchef contracts over to the V2 Masterchef contracts. We're giving everybody a week to do that. Not that you won't be able to do it after the week, but we want to give people time to do that before we go live with V2. So we're giving people a week to do it, meaning we're giving them time to do it before V2 starts, and then the following week we're gonna go live with V2. So that's the timeline for that. So yes, you will need to do that, but we will be giving very thorough instructions and really focusing on that at the start of next week. I don't want to confuse people by overloading them with information by trying to give them information about that and the pig launches at the same time. But for me, it was very important to do the pig launches at the same time because the major use case for dogs is to be earning pigs, and that that logically follows that what is giving dogs its value is pigs. Pigs is what gives dogs its value, and being able to launch pigs with 97% of its supply locked up with all of these major improvements we've made to the logic structures means that, at least in my opinion, pigs is going to perform like we've never seen it perform before, like at an outrageous degree. And that means when dogs do go live, they're going live with a huge demand for pigs, and a huge value for pigs, which in turn gives demand for dogs and provides that value for dogs. So instantly when dogs goes live, it has a lot of demand and a lot of value. That was important to me. So that's another reason why we're giving pigs a couple weeks head start to really move it and show that value.
Yeah, definitely. So is there anything else that you want to talk about the animal farm specifically right now? If not, then I do have some drip garden questions and some drip questions overall. But if there's any kind of things you just want everybody to be aware of when it comes to the animal farm, not even just about how not even just about like the process of how it's going to transition, but more so after it's transitioned, what do you want people to know about the animal farm?
Yeah, so I would like to say, first of all, that if you're getting it tomorrow, you're getting it at the ground floor. The reason for this is because the piggy bank, for example, the way that people are being created in piggy bank is using a type of bonding curve crediting system, which is the same kind of crediting system you would use to do a fair presale. So essentially, those who already got into the piggy bank, consider it as if you got into a bonding curve presale, and you will have more value than you had in V1. And if you're getting it tomorrow for the first time, consider it as you're getting it at the ground floor at launch with a 20% bonus. So this is a major opportunity. One of the reasons why I'm saying it's the ground floor is because the truffles, the pending truffles that people would be able to use to sell and cash out will be 0. So no one will have pending truffles that they're able to dump on your head or to cash out. Everybody's being credited in piglets, which determines the amount of truffles they earn every day. So this is essentially a clean launch, and people that were already in it got a type of bonding curve pre-sale mechanism. Functionally, it's the same, and everybody that gets on Thursday is getting a ground floor plus a bonus. Now, whether you want to get it into the pig pen or to the piggy bank, there's been major improvements. The piggy bank, another major improvement that we made is you can buy partial piglets. So all other contracts that have 2 native assets that are local to the contract, one of them that determines the ROI that you make, and the other one that is a token that you get paid out in, there's a few legacy projects that use the same similar system, and the way that they all work is if you don't have enough of the token that you get paid out in to buy the ROI token, to buy a whole ROI token, and you attempt to do that, it will round out to 0, and you will not be credited for it, which means that small buyers cannot benefit from the system. If they try to, they will get no value, and even if you are a relatively, say, medium-sized staker, just because you have enough to do the initial buy of a whole piglet doesn't mean that the ROI you're making every day is enough to buy a whole one. And since the bonus that you're getting every day for time locking is put into what is available to compound every day, it is essential that you are able to compound no matter how small of a staker you are. And myself and my team put a ton of work into creating a new logic structure, which is based on some very cool math that allows people to buy a fraction of a piglet. And this is something that no other project or product that has a two asset or 2 token mechanism in a contract is able to do. So this is another major first mover that we're able to do. And it's huge, right? Even some of the forks, people try to do forks of Drip Garden and these other projects. There's none of them that have been able to do this, and we've done it. And that's very important for people to understand that in V2 Piggy Bank, no matter how small of a staker you are, it's irrelevant to your ability to earn. And all that matters, especially because we're starting with a higher seed amount and a much deeper liquidity pool, since the initial stakers are acting as a type of pre-sale, there's no major price impact on truffles when new capital enters the system. And this means that it doesn't matter when you get in. What matters is the actions that you take in the system. And because you're now able to compound no matter how small you are, it truly levels the playing field, no matter if you're a whale or you're the smallest user in the system. So that's huge. And then the pig pen, major new cash flows in the pig pen. You're getting paid out in pigs. We also have a new vesting protocol that we implemented in the pig pen. So previously we had a week type of vesting protocol where you couldn't cash out until at least a week. We have adjusted this and made it a 2% daily vested, which means that your stake when you credit to the pig pen is vested, and 2% of your principal is made available for you to withdraw daily. So that means if you try to withdraw the first day, you can withdraw 2%, or you can wait 50 days, and then in 50 days withdraw the whole 100%. Yeah, and I think this is better because it makes some of the capital immediately available, but it does also further incentivize and just further ensure that the people that are getting into the pig pen are the long-term supporters of the project. And when you include all of the huge new cash flows coming in, they're going to benefit for being a long-term investor in the project way bigger than they did in V1. And now I say one more thing that I'm very excited about Animal Farm is the vaults. So the pig pen operates as a governance protocol that allows stakers in the pig pen to vote on various mechanisms that we can introduce into the animal farm. Now, what the main use case of this will be is giving the community a chance to vote on teams that we partner with for vaults. And what vaults are is, say we partner with a project, they will give us a percentage of their total supply, which we can use as rewards to pay out stakers in the vault. And the vault will be for LP tokens. So people that stake our native assets, drip, dogs, and pigs, with their native asset, as liquidity, their stakes those LPs will now be earning their native asset. So it's another cash flow, another form of value that you can earn in the system that isn't coming from inflation, and it isn't putting any more of our tokens in circulation. In fact, it's incentivizing to lock them up more. So we're in a better place than ever. I made some internal team adjustments, right? We had some members of the team which have been with us for a long time, and I appreciate all the work that they've done. But when you've been working with people for years, sometimes things come up, sometimes their attention, gets split, personal things or professional things, whatever the case may be. And we were starting to have that issue a bit, and it was starting to cause little delays, little things here and there, and we worked that out. And we worked out a few other things, such as our deployment process, such as how we will do launches in the future. You can't really prevent sniping without really preventing anybody from buying, but you can do certain protocols to ensure even if they do snipe, it's just a big lie in the system. They can't drain it. So we spent a lot of time working on that, and we're in a better place than ever as far as a development team. And we also hired an additional developer who is only doing quality quality control. This is only job is to audit, is to look over our shoulder, pay attention to everything we're doing. We brought on a new UI dev, which is why we were able to build out this new Pigs UI in 5 days, and it's a higher quality than our previous UI. So I mean, we have a larger team. Still, the core, the core decision making and the really important things, like when it comes to migrating capital and stuff like this, it's all being handled by me. But we brought on more help, and it's we're in a better place than ever.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I just want to point one thing out for everybody who's watching. It's actually very cool to hear Dev talk like this more long term. Because especially in the past couple, I want to say months, there's been a lot of these shady protocols, a lot of these rug pulls, and even like these protocols that weren't rug pulls, they weren't anything like that. They just failed. You know what I'm saying? The community wasn't behind it anymore, and all these different type of things. But it's nice and it's refreshing to hear Dev that's talking like, even when he was talking about the loaning or the lending protocol, he was saying, that's like a year out, that's like a couple months out. He's talking like futuristic, as in he actually plans to be around and actually plans on the different projects being around. So that is very refreshing to hear. Yeah. But now I kind of want to switch and talk more about drip, right? So we talked about the animal farm, and obviously the animal farm is a part of drip, and drip is benefited by the animal farm. But as far as just a couple more things, just to clarify for people, one thing that I need clarification on, and somebody brought this question up, and I was like, I don't even have the answer for this. So if we're on the drip website, right? Most people go to the swap page, the home page, or the faucet. Nobody really goes over and clicks the third tab, which is the reservoir. What is that? How does it work? How does it benefit drip? How can it benefit us?
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're bringing that up. For a few reasons. One of the reasons because I'd like to talk about it and promote it, but also because we just did an interview with an Italian YouTuber who has a big community in Italy, and we talked about the reservoir in this interview. And ever since we've been seeing some very big deposits into the reservoir over the past week, and people have been really excited about that. But the reservoir is our contract or our product that allows you to earn from adding liquidity to our native DEX. And the reason why we built a specific liquidity adding protocol for our native DEX and didn't just decide to only list on PancakeSwap is because it allowed us to pay out our liquidity providers at a higher rate than any other DEX is able to do. So, for example, we have time-weighted liquidity provider rewards, and what this means is, with all other protocols, what determines the share of the liquidity provider fee that you get as a liquidity provider is just the size of the liquidity pool that you make up. Mm-hmm. In the reservoir and in our native DEX, it also accounts for how long you've been providing this liquidity. So it supports people who are longer-term supporters of the project and have been there since day one, not just whales that come in. Now, the way it works is, when you deposit BNB to the reservoir, because the reservoir is a product that you deposit BNB and it pays out BNB. So that's another really cool bullish thing about it. There's very few protocols out there that allow you to deposit and withdraw BNB, at least sustainable ones. And reservoir's been extremely sustainable, extremely well performing for the whole life of drip. Mm-hmm. Now, there is a 1% liquidity provider fee on all swaps on our native DEX. Now, if you were to swap on, say, PancakeSwap, buy on PancakeSwap, you're going to get a 10% tax on it, and you're going to pay a 0.3% liquidity provider fee. If you buy on our native DEX, you get to avoid that 10% tax on buying, and you're only getting a 1% liquidity provider fee. So you're not getting that big tax, and the tax that actually goes to supporting the community and the protocol is a little bit higher. So you pay 1% instead of 10.3%. And this 1% liquidity provider fee gets paid out fully 100% to reservoir stakers, and it gets paid out in the form of BNB. So there's 3 cash flows that are coming into the reservoir. It's 2% of all BNB that comes into the reservoir gets permanently locked in the liquidity pool, creating a higher price pool for drip, ensuring that there's always a locked, decentralized liquidity pool for drip. 3% is made immediately available to stakers, which means when new BNB comes in after you and you're in the reservoir, that BNB that came after you, 3% of it becomes immediately available to you. You get that's instantly put in your balance an extra more BNB that you can withdraw, and then the rest, because it's a 10% tax, the other 5% tax is put into a vault that pays out 2% of its balance daily, and this vault is where the 1% liquidity provider fee goes as well. So it ensures that it's paying out these liquidity provider rewards not just based on the share of the pool that you make up, but how long you've been in there. So this is why we did it, because for one, we wanted it on DEX so we could avoid tax on buying. Now since then, so it's been over a year since we developed drip, and we came out with a mechanism that we can use in the future to list, say, on PancakeSwap and avoid tax on only buying and not selling. This is something that we've innovated since then, but there's still there's way more than that provides value to the reservoir. So even if we had that ability to do it, we would still want to do the reservoir, because we're paying out a higher liquidity provider fee and more BNB than you would make in any other DEX as a liquidity provider on drip and in the reservoir. Mm-hmm. And I was just talking about this at the beginning of the week with an interviewer, and since then we've got a lot of deposits, and I know people that are in the reservoir have been very happy with the reservoir, because it's a very low risk way of getting involved, because you're depositing BNB, you're acting as a liquidity provider, which is generally a low risk way as long as it's a decent project that you're providing liquidity to, and you're getting paid out in BNB. So people love it. I would say get more involved. And really the only reason why people aren't talking more about it is because there's no referral system involved. So there's a little bit less incentive for people to be talking about it, because they're not shielding their teams. But I would say the value is there, and it allows people to diversify their risk a little bit lower risk of a play, but a little bit lower reward compared to the deposit as well. Yeah,
so like you're saying, I think one of the main reasons why people are not in it, I can talk for me specifically. I really had no idea what it was. Like, if you're on YouTube, you don't hear anybody talking about the reservoir. All you hear is about the faucet and everything like that. So like you're saying, it's really just a lack of knowledge around what it is, how it can benefit them. Like you're saying, it's more of a lower risk but lower reward type of thing, which could help diversify your portfolio, help just help you spread yourself out a little bit better, so your risks are a little bit more spread out, because you are depositing BNB and you're actually getting paid out in BNB too.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why the new UI is so important, because we need people that go on the site to be really made. The education needs to be there on the site. We need to have the testimonials there, and the way that we went about designing the new UI for Drip was looking at the major players in finance, which are the major investment banks, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, and we use a template which is essentially the exact same template that Charles Schwab uses, with testimonials on the front page, partnerships on the front page, a very in-depth information about all the products on there, outlinking articles to where you can learn more about the different products, different people's Medium articles, all this stuff, and we put a lot of focus into search engine optimization. because this is something that a lot of DeFi projects are doing. But these major firms put a lot of effort into designing their site using specific keywords and titles, using as many out-facing links to popular websites as possible, and all of these things help you get a higher ranking when people search for YouTube. And right now, people search drip on YouTube. We're like number 2 for all of Google if you type in drip, I believe. And number 3 is our Twitter account. But with some search engine optimization, we can be number 1, and we can really go with the list, even when people just type in crypto or DeFi and try to get up in number 5, number 10, number 1. Yeah, exactly. So that's a lot of the focus that we put in the new UI as well. So these are things that are going to help people learn more and get more exposure to our other products such as the Reservoir.
Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, thank you for the clarification of the Reservoir and everything like that. Another question, well, I feel like one of the biggest questions that I have been asked is about the drip garden. So everybody's saying the drip garden LP is being drained. Even though they're compounding their amount staked, or however they want to term it, is going down. That is ultimately because of the price of drip, correct?
Well, it's 2 things.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the price of drip, and it's people just taking profit.
Yeah, just
so when you say LP is being drained, it's just being claimed by people that are stakers in the drip garden. Now, I can say that the drip garden acts as a type of leverage for drip. So when drip is doing well, it's a higher risk play on drip that allows you to get even more exposure to drip. And when drip is having correction, you're going to have an even greater correction on the drip garden. So it's a form of leverage trading for drip. Now we've seen that the drip garden, which is pretty old now, it's I don't know how old, but 6 months old or something. You can see that we've had multiple large corrections in the LP balance and come back and made new all-time highs, which is something none of these minor forks or whatever you want to call them have been able to do. And then on top of this, I would say that the drip garden has always been promoted as a high-risk play and more of a short-term play. And really, we were getting a lot of demand from the community, especially when these minor type forks were very popular. People just wanted to drip one, and I was hesitant. I was a little hesitant because I like to be super long-term with my stuff. But if the vast majority of the community is saying they want something, I want to be able to provide it to them. So I would say that the drip garden acts as a form of leverage for drip. When drip is performing very well, the drip garden tends to perform very well, and it's a high risk play on drip. So it's really I think that the most bullish times for drip are this year. One of the reasons why I say that is because some of the sustainability mechanisms, such as the max payout, which is a 365 max payout, doesn't even come into play until after a year. You're earning 1% interest a day up to 365. We just hit our 1 year mark a couple weeks ago, which means that every day a new major whale and a new major early investor that got in at launch or got in pre-sale is hitting their max payout and no longer able to drain the system. And on day 1, we had the largest whale who was only draining the system actually hit their max payout. And every day we're having multiple people hit max payout. So when you include this with all the things we have coming up for drip, and the fact that drip is really starting to spread to other countries, and it's really starting to go mainstream in a sense, I'm more bullish on drip than ever. And then if you want to take a high risk play on drip, which is akin to doing like a leverage trade, a high leverage trade on drip, then you can get into the garden. But understand that's what it is when you get into it, and that's what it's always been promoted as.
Yeah.
Now all of the other products that we've developed are intrinsically low risk and long term frame mechanics. There's no max payout on the garden. There's there's no time locking on the garden as far as you time lock like sustain from claiming rewards to get a payout. So it's high risk, and it's always been high risk. But it's essentially our only product that is a high risk, high reward play, and we provided it because that's what the community was asking for at the time. A minor fork, but look at all the other minor forks. When they go and they hit their whatever their peak for their payout, and then they start to drain, that's it. They're done. They've drained, and then most of them only last a couple weeks at max. Some of them last a few months. Whereas ours, it's like 6 months old, and it's hit multiple peaks as far as LP balance, done major corrections, come back, made major peaks, and it really just has to do with what drip's doing at the time.
Yeah. So I think the way you explained it, I actually broke it down very nicely. It's more of a high risk. So if drip is doing good, the drip gardeners will do even better. If drip's doing bad, the drip gardeners going to do even worse. So it's basically just multiplying the effect of whatever drip is doing at that time by however many X's it is. Yes, I can appreciate that kind of breakdown of it, and just hopefully that made it more understandable for people as to why the price, they might be getting less value with their plants than they were before when drip was actually at all-time highs and everything like that.
Yeah, of course.
But as far as drip, right? So people have asked, what are because I know after the animal farm you're going to focus more on drip, and obviously when you focus more on drip, the price will obviously go up, and drip does have these cycles that we go through and everything like that. But what are your plans moving forward after? Like, what is the number one thing that you're going to do to kind of try and help bring the price of drip back up after the animal farm is all set up and everything like that?
Yeah. Okay, so by the end of next month, right, I would say late this month, early next month, we're going to have the new UI up. We're going to have a partnership with a major DEX that is going to give us a ton of exposure, and a new use case that is rewarding people for removing drip and drip LP from circulation. this is going to be huge. This is something that was just secured yesterday. We have the scratch ticket protocol, which will be out either I would say late next month or early the following month, and then you have to account for the fact that our sustainability mechanisms, such as the max payout, just came into effect. In the past couple weeks. We're going to be putting a lot more focus on marketing drip, and just because right now we're really talking a lot about Animal Farm, which we'll continue to do. But when I'm not in the heavy development of another project, then I can focus on doing a lot more promotion, and that allows me to promote Animal Farm and drip, as opposed to heavy development and promotion on Animal Farm and doing what I can for drip. So there's that. And then so these are things, very big things, right? The scratch ticket protocol, the partnership, and the new UI, which is coming in the next couple months. And then by end of year, I want to have this lending protocol wrapped up with it, which I think is just going to be a major game changer. So people who have a longer term vision in drip and are going through the various cycles, maybe taking a little off the top when it's at high and piling on a little bit more when it's at the lower end of the cycles, these are the people who are going to benefit the most. And there's a lot of people that are in drip for the long haul, and they realize that there's nothing else like it in DeFi. And even for forks to start to come out of drip, it took them like a year, and so far I've seen every single one of them get they've all been wrecked, either like exploits or weird dev stuff or whatever the case may be. So there's nothing like there in the space like drip, and my goal is to build the kind of development where the next thing we add to drip will take another year or two before people are able to fork it, and it will be the next big thing. Like drip is the next big thing, and I want to be so far ahead of the competition that there's just no one else even doing what we're doing, and that's what I feel that we're doing with the scratch ticket model and the lending protocol as far as developed with drip, and the launches and pushes that we're having with Animal Farm tomorrow and over the next 2 weeks for the whole dogs migration.
So wait, is that your dog? Because everybody in the chat is talking about. I don't know if you heard my cat meowing in the background. Everybody was talking about my cat, but
I'm sure they heard both.
Yeah.
My dog is crazy. I got a little dog. My nephew lives with me, so my nephew came and moved in with me, and he has a little crazy dog, and it's just a little excited dog.
Yeah, but back to the whole drip and everything like that. You kind of mentioned a huge partnership with the DEX. I know you've mentioned before about a partnership with PancakeSwap. Can you get more into what that is?
Yeah, so PancakeSwap, both PancakeSwap and Chainlink reached out for partnerships. Chainlink, initially they wanted to have a type of, they wanted us to use their pricing oracle for drip, but there's really no need for it, and it costs money to use their oracles. So I didn't want to just implement some, low-hanging fruit and then do some half-ass co-promotion about it. I wanted something big that we can both be excited about, and we're using their VRF service in a way that no one else has. So they're very excited about it. And that partnership is coming with the scratch ticket model. So that's where the Chainlink partnership is coming in. And then PancakeSwap partnership, there's multiple things that are on the table. There are some things that I know that they have planned that's kind of behind the scenes that they don't want leaked yet. And they want to come out with the promotion for it. So I don't really want to speak like in detail to what that is. But I can also say that with Animal Farm, we are lending out our LP tokens. We are not lending out our single asset tokens. And this is because there's no solid place to lend out single asset tokens to get any kind of significant yield. Only LPs provide significant yield. But with the partnership that we've established, we are going to be able to lend out our single assets for a major yield. And this is something that we're working on with the major DEX. But I want to, I've kind of made the mistake before about yeah, it wasn't a mistake, but you know, I'll say for the sake of maybe it wasn't optimal. Where with Bet Fury approached us for a partnership. They said we want to do this, we want to do that, all of these things, and then we had our focus on something else, and then when and essentially they, you know, I came to the community saying, you know, Fury reached out about this thing. Are you guys interested in this? Is the community excited about this? And everybody went from our chat over to their chat, like, we're doing this and we're doing this, and you know, some of those things they might have wanted to be kept a little more behind the scenes, right? So I just want to be very careful when it comes to partnerships, especially moving forward, to not jump the gun as far as if they have a new product coming out or something like that, saying that, you know, we're partnering with this new product before they have a chance to really promote it and push it themselves.
Yeah,
So
you don't want to leak the sauce before they leak it.
Yeah. So, but there are major things behind the work for both Drip and Animal Farm for, you know, these major dexes, for Chainlink, for you know, the project that we're partnering with for the scratch ticket protocol is a project called MicroPets, which is a cool NFT like play to earn game, and really they're a little more behind the scenes with it, but you know, there's a lot of other, I would say, smaller developers that are working very hard on building different things for Drip that will either be them launching it or me saying, okay, I'll be the face of it because it provides that much value for Drip or Animal Farm. Yeah, so there's a lot of things going on as far as like different development and stuff. And partnerships.
So I really only have this one more question written down. I don't know, I might come up with some more questions on the fly. But somebody asks, we kind of talked about the Drip Garden already, but I kind of want to swing it back over there. Do you plan on making any improvements to it or any upgrades to the Drip Garden? Do you see any areas where you think there could be upgrades? And also, will the Drip Garden get a new UI? Because I know when I went on the new website this morning, and when I clicked the Drip Garden, it was basically the same versus like all the other pools and everything like that is on a whole new UI. So do you plan on merging that to a new UI? And also, do you see any things that you could make upgrades? And if so, what are your plans?
Yeah. So with the reason why the Drip Garden isn't on the new UI now is only because we decided we were going to build out a whole new UI like 6 days ago, and we built out this UI in 5 days. It was crunch mode, and we wanted to make sure we had everything that we needed for the new pig contract mechanisms, which we're launching tomorrow, which we were able to get all of that out. And we already had a UI for Drip Garden that does everything that we needed to do. So the priority was getting the dashboards that we got up and the new UI that we got up by tomorrow, which we were able to do. But yes, we will be integrating a new UI for Drip Garden on animalfarm.app, and you know, for sure. Now, as far as improvements, Drip Garden is immutable, but there are ways that we can, for example, create a new cash flow that's going into the vault as far as LP tokens, and there are various improvements that we could potentially make to it. You know, off the top of my head, I have so many other things that I'm working on that, you know, I don't have anything off the top of my head other than building out a new UI for it, which will be on the new Animal Farm site, and that's something we're going to get to like before the full migration is over, so within the next 2 weeks.
Got you. Completely understandable. So that is really all the questions I personally have. Then again, I do want to ask you, what you're most excited for about Animal Farm, or what did you have to say about Animal Farm? Is there any things that you want anybody to know about Drip? It could be, and it could literally be anything. Okay. It's just an open floor.
Yeah. So, you know, I would say the thing that I'm most excited for with Drip is the lending protocol, because I truly know that's going to change the game. When people have the ability to take out a loan and access their value from their stake without needing to withdraw from the system,
Yeah.
that is that further rewards people from keeping their capital in the system. It allows people to earn interest, in a secured loan for sharing to others, and it right. I see that as the killer app for Drip, but also just the killer app for DeFi. There's nothing like that in DeFi, and I mean, right now, Drip, as I've always said, my goal for Drip was to build a vehicle for onboarding investors and to build the most efficient onboarding vehicle, which we could then use to push products with serious fundamental value. When I say serious fundamental value, I'm mostly talking about lending, insurance, gaming, and privacy. So that's what I see as the four fundamental use cases, or the use cases with the most intrinsic and fundamental value for DeFi. And there's very few projects that are actually providing this to any major degree. And my goal for Drip was to first build a staking protocol, which is the most sustainable staking protocol that acts as a huge vehicle for onboarding investors, which is done very, very well. Like, we have a massive community, and then use it as a platform to start pushing real fundamental utility and building these on top of it. And the there's things that we've built, of course, there's things that we've built on top of it, but when we talk about core fundamental utility in DeFi and game changing utility, lending is, I see lending as being at the top of that list. And Drip provides the perfect platform to be able to build something like that on top of it. So that's what I'm most excited about. That's what really motivates me like nothing else. But I'm also super excited about the things that we have right around the corner as well, because I know that it's going to really help the performance of Drip, and just kick off the next cycle. And people that have been paying attention see that with our major cycles, right, we're hitting new all-time highs, new all-time lows, new all-time highs, new all-time highs, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Right? And when you're looking at the small cycles or whatever, there's all these fractal cycles which are going up and down, whatever. But when you zoom out and look at the major cycles, we're making higher highs and higher lows. And right now, I feel like we're at we're rounding off this higher low and ready for the next cycle to make this next higher high. And fundamentally, we're in a better place than ever to do that. A stronger, better than ever development team, the sustainability functionality, just the major sustainability functionality with the max payout just came into play a couple weeks ago, and it's starting to work. And it's going to work way better as we get longer, because there were some people that compounded and deposited for the first couple weeks and were onboarded, major whales that were onboarded the first couple weeks, but now they've been draining for a while, and it's only a matter of time before they hit their max payout. And then all of the utility and everything that we're going to be bringing to it, and just being able to put our focus back on Drip in the next coming weeks is something I'm very excited about for Drip. So I couldn't be more confident in Drip. I would say Drip, it really had to prove itself in the first year, because there's been other protocols that had max payouts and stuff, and they never even make it to the mark where they hit when these mechanics even start to come into play. Drip proved that it was able to function very well and be high performing even before these sustainability mechanics started to come into play. And that's where it really needed to prove itself, and it's done that. And now we're kind of in the next leg where everything's going on all cylinders, and we're really I'm just confident about it and really excited for it.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, every time like I listen to an AMA or anything like that, sometimes you look at the price of Drip or whatever. I'm sure everybody looks at the price of Drip almost every single day. They look at it and then they reminisce back to when it was at all-time highs and everything like that. And then they go and listen to an AMA and they just feel like FOREX is ready to take the world on, and the price of Drip is about to go to $1 million. That's literally how I start to feel every single time I listen to an AMA. So I'm glad I was able to sit down here and have this talk with you, ask a couple questions that the community was asking me. Most honestly, I think all the questions that I asked you, I didn't even come up with any of them. I just went to the community because that's obviously, if the majority of people are asking this, I want to get the answer out for them versus me just having a question like
Thank you.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really all the questions.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
No problem at all. I told you, right? At this point, we're best friends. I'm about to move in with you, your nephew, and the dog.
Come on over, man. Come on over. We're living on an island right now, so come join us. But the thing that people should find confidence in, and you spoke on it a little bit, is my first project, REAP, my first token, which is 2 years old at this point, a little over 2 years old. It did very well, and then we had a correction, and then it sat there for a while, like 6 months, 8 months, or whatever. We came out with the DAO, which gave another major use case for it, and now the REAP token is at all-time high again, and we have a major raise going on in the DAO right now that we just started whitelisting for a deal in a deal called Acquirify, which is the first venture capitalist marketplace that allows people to sell everything from crypto domains to fully functioning projects. Say there's a small dev team that builds a bridge. The bridge is doing well. They're earning yield and dev fees for them, but they don't have what it takes. They don't have the network or whatever to take it to the next level. They could sell that full project with the full community, with the tokens, with the platform, with the website, everything to a larger dev team or to a marketing firm or whoever wants to buy it, and essentially cash out. And it's kind of like going public, or a form of going public, or selling to another private entity. And this marketplace is founded by the same founder that founded Paxful, which is the #1 or #2 peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange. So this is a really big deal, and we're handling the seed and private round raise. So I'm handling basically their whole pre-sale for them, and this is a really big deal. And we're doing this in the REAP DAO, which you only get access to if you have REAP token, which is the first token that I ever developed 2 years ago. So even 2 years down the road, I'm creating awesome new utility and reasons to be buying these assets. I never forget about an asset. I never say we're moving on from it. It's part of the ecosystem. I'm going to continue to support it, and that should give people confidence, because REAP price right now is pumping. It's breaking all-time highs. And we're 2 years down the road. Drip's only 1 year down the road, and I see bigger things for Drip than for anything. So that should give people confidence, and I appreciate it. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to answer questions from the community, because I never try to hide from questions. I always try to answer them. There's only so much attention I can give. When we have almost 50,000 people, 100,000 people in all the groups, I can only see so many questions. Yeah. So I always appreciate the opportunity when someone is able to, present some questions that they know the community wants answered, and I'm always willing to do that, because the community is what makes us. It's got what got us to where we are, and I appreciate all of you, especially you for giving me this platform.
No problem at all. Just one last question, because I realize people keep asking this, and it could really just be. I don't know if I've ever asked this before too, but people are asking, would you ever consider bridging Drip, like making it available on any other blockchain, or even creating your own blockchain in the future? I'm not sure what would be the benefits of creating your own blockchain or anything like that, but if it was ever in your mind.
Yeah. So I would create a new blockchain if I had some sort of idea or logic that I know would be levels above all other blockchains. And right now, I can't think of anything that would really be. I could think of things maybe, but really nothing that makes me say this needs to be built right now. And there's a lot of other developers that are building their own blockchain, and they're essentially just forks of BSC, and that's really all they are. And I have no interest in doing that. I have no interest in building forks. When I build something, I want it to be the best in the space and significantly better than everything. And I'm just not motivated to. Yeah, I'm not motivated to just build something that's a fork of something else with no major improvement. Now, as far as bridging, yes, I am interested in bridging, and the way that the bridging would work is it would allow people to buy Drip and to buy our assets with off-chain currencies such as whatever Matic or whatever the case may be, and and it will essentially be a dashboard where they use those tokens to buy our assets on BSC. I don't want to be spreading our liquidity on a bunch of different chains because that really creates more opportunity for arbitrage bots and leechers and things. And when you have a shallow liquidity pool, there's more price impact on smaller moves. People can cash out less. People have more slippage when they try to buy, more price impact. So really, you want to have as deep and as concentrated a liquidity pool in one or two places as possible, and trying to do cross chain and all these things really hurts that. And a lot of projects they do it for the short term pop, but then it ends up hurting them over the long run because they're spread out so thin, and I don't want that for our projects. So bridging, yes, but a very specific kind of bridging, and building our own chain, I don't want to build something just to build it. So if I can, if we have something truly game changing, I will build it, of course. But that's not what I'm thinking about right now. There's so much that needs to be built in the space that have nothing to do with building another chain, because we have chains that are functional right now that don't have nearly the products or value that they should have, and people just aren't building it. They're building just little cash grabs and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I know I said that was the last question, but I have another one. So we talked about decentralized exchanges. We talked about a couple different partnerships and anything like that. Have you ever thought about trying to get on any centralized exchanges, and how would that actually work? What would that look like if it is something you thought about? And do you think it would be beneficial or?
So yeah.
Go ahead.
So we have some very small listings on centralized exchanges, and this came just by the exchanges wanting to have some exposure to our community, so they bought the tokens themselves and put them on their exchange and created an order book for it. If one of the major exchanges, when I'm talking like FTX, Coinbase, Binance, if we have an opportunity there, I will take it, because that will give us so much exposure that it will be worth doing. But having derivative trading, so essentially our tokens sitting in a wallet, and then the trading is taking place not even with our tokens, just with a derivative that represent tokens in a wallet, hurt the game theory of the project, because it allows people to avoid the taxes, trade it without, with all of the game theory is able to be avoided by allowing for that. That would be worth doing if it was one of the majors, like one of the major threes, because the exposure would just be so big that it's worth doing. But as far as like smaller sexes, centralized exchanges, I don't have much interest in it. But Coinbase did reach out not that long ago for DRIP, because they want us to utilize their wallet. So they want to integrate DRIP into their Coinbase wallet. And we started negotiations with them, because my point is, if we're going to bring 60, 70,000 more users to your wallet, what are you going to bring to the table? And I'm trying to use that as leverage to negotiate something with Coinbase, whether it's just more promotion, because they do have some like analytic software and tools that aren't for tokens that are on their major exchange that we could get promotion on, or there's angles there that we could take advantage of. I also want to say that there's two fiat on ramps that I was in the process of both negotiating and working with, and I think we will be able to be serviced by at least one of them, because I know they're servicing projects that are significantly less than us in like all values essentially, and I put that on the sideline so I could be hyper focused on getting this migration out. But this is another thing that I'm going to have my full focus on as soon as Animal Farm is launched. And I think a fiat on-ramp will be big, because that not only allows us to make it easier for people to buy with credit and debit, but also allows us to potentially have things like kiosk boosts. So I know someone that has a major franchise, a major gas station franchise, and he's also a major investor in DRIP, and he's interested in doing a type of kiosk booth which would allow people to come into his gas stations, buy and stake DRIP, and essentially have their own little like DRIP ATM in his gas stations. And he would take he would take like a small fee, like an ATM fee from it, and it would allow people to essentially invest in crypto and have a staking protocol easily right in his gas stations, and we could really expand from that. But that takes a fiat on ramp to do. But that's not even that hard to do. Once you have a fiat on ramp, you just need to have someone willing to start putting the kiosks in their
buildings and everything like that.
And we have ways that we can benefit them. A small fee. So there's so much that we could do here that is on the horizon.
Yeah. So there's obviously a bunch of things still coming out. Well, that's really all the questions I have, though. I appreciate you for giving us your time to answer all these different questions. Thanks for being so clear and not like dodging the questions and everything like that. Yeah. So anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I would just say that in about 11 hours, right? 1 p.m. EST tomorrow. Sorry, not 11 hours. 23 hours. Yeah, 23 hours. We're going to be going live with the pigs, the pig related contracts, Pigpen, Piggy Bank. We're going to open up the voice chat at least an hour before that to really just get people up to date and excited and ready to go. But when this countdown hits 0, you got to be here because we're going live then, and it's not going to be like other launches we've done where we've said when the countdown is 0, we're going to start a voice chat. We're going to start the voice chat at least an hour before, and when that hits 0, we're going live. So be there and be ready because it's your chance to get into the ground floor in what I believe, what a lot of people believe, and I believe the functionality demands that we are the best yield farm protocol and the best variable time locking protocol in the space, and your chance to get into the ground floor is tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST. So be there, and other than that, thank you, man. Thank you for the platform.
Appreciate it. All right, Mr. FOREX. Until next time, but I'll be at the island in a couple.
Alrighty, all right. There it is. There's the AMA with FOREX and Jovier Gems. I think we got a decent amount of alpha. A lot of stuff, has been covered before. If you've been, maybe this is your first time listening to one of these AMAs from Forex Shark speaking about the Animal Farm, the updates coming as far as the piggy bank and the pig pen. But I've been down on this like pretty hard. So I've listened to pretty much every AMA, read all the Telegram posts, the Medium articles, checking out Twitter and stuff. Listen to other streamers' approach to it. Just trying to get as much information as I can about things so that I don't miss out. Again, as I mentioned, it starts tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. New money allocated to the piggy bank. It's a 15% bonus. 15% bonus, y'all. And like I'm just gonna say my approach with the 15% bonus, like yes, I could go along with it. I already have some long stakes in there, but I think I'm gonna use the 15% bonus to do some shorter stakes. So I'm gonna allocate some funds for some short stakes, maybe 1 or 2 short stakes, and get that 15% bonus on those, because then I get it back quicker. I already have some longer term stakes that are about a year or so out on each of them. So I had no shorter stakes, and so I think I'm going to play around that short stake thing and maybe do like one for 1 week, and then another one for like a month. And I'll be able to test out those short stakes. Figure out your own strategies, do your own research on this stuff, because this AMA is not the end of your research. Hopefully, there's more to figure out and digest. Oops, here's my alarm. Like, hey, Smurf, you should be awake by now. I haven't had to use that to wake up for a long time, but still got it there. That's all the information from me today. Hopefully you found this informational, learned something, and I'll see you in the next one. We gotta create some videos for some other blockchain games today.